Hello G mamas, here I am again to talk about my pre-baby vacation. I didn't write baby moon because it wasn't actually possible for us to do that, but I did have to quickly travel to Brazil because my baby brother decided to get married like that. I found out that he was going to get married the same day that I called him to tell that I was pregnant, and he come with the news and saying, oh, by the way, we're getting married in 2 months. And I was like, what? You crazy? I have to be there. And it was such a hurry, and I knew I needed to do everything I could to be there. I made sure that all my projects were in line to end or to be pretty resolved by the time I was going there. And I also knew that if I was going to spend the 2 weeks that I needed to be there, I would be there in the beginning of my second trimester, which is the safest time to travel generally. But before I booked anything, I went to see my doctor, and I asked her whether I had to take any precautions or any pre-tests, or if I had to take any specific meds with me, or anything that was interesting to know before I went away, because I live in Australia but I'm Brazilian, as you probably already seen other videos, and you probably noticed the accent, and it's a pretty much 24 even 30 hour trip, and I was going by myself because my husband could not stop his work during that busy period of the year. Just before Christmas was the end of the year last year, November. Before that, I went to the doctor, as I said, and I asked what was good to take. So she gave me, she basically said, look, if you feel sick, you need to have your paracetamol is the only thing you can take. If you feel any kind of pain that is mild, that you can manage, you can take 2 paracetamols every 4 hours if you feel pain. Of course, go to the doctor there if you need anything, and which made me think I have to do travel insurance, obviously. So I did check online, and there's a lot of options in Australia. There are websites that specialize in comparing types of insurances, and for me it was really important to read every single thing, because as you probably know, insurances get you in the very small things, like for an accident or in case of death, but if you need to do an ultrasound, that's another thing. So I wanted to make sure that I was covered for the time of my pregnancy, that I was going to be there. And then I found that a lot of insurances, and it may be different in different countries, or maybe I haven't looked all of them because I didn't have the time to look all of them. I checked the terms and conditions. Some of them had a rule, including the one that I chose, had the rule that over 20 weeks of pregnancy they reduce a lot of the coverage, and some of them wouldn't even cover at all. So definitely something to check. Don't go only by the price or by the reviews. Check I call as well, just to make sure. I was going on my 14th, coming back on my 16th week, so it wasn't even the case for me. But I know that you can be traveling safely up until 28 weeks if you're doing a long trip, of course, generally speaking. But if you buy insurance and you actually end up needing it overseas and you are above 20, you may only then realize that you don't have a lot of coverage. So make sure that you read the small letters and call them if something is not clear enough for you. I went for 2 weeks, and it was about $80 that I paid, Australian dollars. Was happy to be able to go to see my brother getting married, and to spend some time with my family. And I haven't seen them for 2 years at the time, but I didn't have a bump yet. I was on starting my second trimester, and I didn't have a belly up until Christmas, but it was nice to be there during the time I was pregnant, and also with my brother as he was getting married, and being there with them. And although my husband didn't go, it was also okay because we wouldn't have time to do any tourism in Brazil for this small amount of time. So we decided that I should go and see my brother and stay with my family for the period of 2 weeks, come back, and then stay here relaxing for Christmas, finishing the projects for the year, starting for the following year, and just enjoying Christmas and New Year break here in Australia. I know that we will be doing something before my mom arrived for the birth of the baby in May of 2020, and I would love to hear some suggestions of local trips, because there is not going to be any international trips for me anymore. I will be 28 weeks next week, but I will love to stay maybe a week or a weekend, a long weekend away with my husband somewhere local. I live in Sydney, so I would love to hear your suggestions if you know any place that we could go and enjoy ourselves before responsibilities and nappies. And if you can, try to find time and spend some of this time with your husband before the baby arrives. Make sure that you take some time off. I will make sure that I update you guys on baby moon next time, but that was my trip during my pregnancy, and I would like to share with you how I experienced going overseas on my own. And not having any trouble. If it's helpful to you, please share with your friends, like this video, subscribe to the channel, go to our website and see other articles that may be interesting to you. Sometimes the video are quite limited and I don't have a lot of time to talk about it and go deeply enough, but on the website we have the full articles with links and more helpful tips for you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.